Hello, world. Welcome back to Golf Subpar with Colt Knost and Drew Stoltz. Well, there was some golf being played this week, Sleaze, but there was a lot more football. And once again, my heart's been ripped out by my beloved Dallas Cowboys. 1 week into the season, it's already over. I'm done.
You want to talk about it? Want to lay down on the couch?
I don't even know.
That was ugly.
It was awful. Not only did Dak Prescott get hurt, they just played terrible the whole time. Scored 3 points. The defense, I'm okay with giving up 19 to Tom Brady. The offense just didn't do their part, and now Dak Prescott's going to be out 6 to 8 weeks. I don't know what the hell they're going to do. Cooper Rush. I wish Cooper Kupp was on our team.
You might want to trade for Cooper Kupp.
We should actually get Cooper Kupp. It'd be genius. See if we can
throw to himself.
Trade Cooper Rush for Cooper Kupp straight up.
Coop for a Coop? Straight up?
Straight up.
No cash options?
But Cooper Rush is the man under center now for the Cowboys. That's going to be a problem, I think. There has been some talks, possibly Cam Newton. You know, would they make a trade for Jimmy G? Just heard on the radio driving over here, a guy called in, said Nick Foles. Maybe he's up at the Colts, backup for Matt Ryan. I wouldn't mind having Nick Foles down. He did all right with the Eagles.
I think you need something. I don't know if is week one too early to start tanking? Is it too early to just say, we stink, Bryce Young next year, let's get him?
I don't think the quarterback's
you just
the
paid
issue.
Dak
I know
a
he's
lot
hurt.
Of money, so
I
maybe
think,
not.
yeah, you paid him a lot of money. You know, I have not been the biggest proponent of this Mike McCarthy hire. I'm a big Sean Payton guy, and I'm okay with them just sucking the rest of the year.
Forcing his
Mike,
hand?
You're out. Sean Payton, come on in, take over. You know, get to spend an offseason with Dak. I think big things would happen.
That was a tough one to have as the featured game on Sunday night, week one. It was a field goal fest.
Ruined my night.
Starting off. By the way, kickers in the NFL also suck ass. It's not just college. It's been a bad. How about Justin Reed, though, for the Chiefs? The safety that comes in, takes over kicking duties. He's better than half of the league already. Kicking with cleats on.
I was at the game. I went and checked out the Cardinals and the Chiefs. Chiefs, they're going to do all right without Tyreek Hill.
They're okay.
They're pretty good, but it was a lot of fun. It's just so great to have the NFL back along with college football. Texas almost pulled off an incredible upset. I know Jordan Spieth was freaking out. Justin Thomas was actually in Las Vegas watching, and I mean, I think he might have had a heart attack if they lost.
That's like a 2-week recovery period on that.
I'll take the over because Jordan Spieth would not let him hear the end of it. Ever.
The shaved head thing that he mentioned on the radio would have been nice. I don't know that either of those guys ever come back from that if they shaved the head. But how about Scotty Scheffler being down there on the field, getting presented with the Player of the Year trophy?
Very well deserved.
And damn near saw Texas upset Bama. Not great for us when I think I called it the triple mortgage parlay of the week when it's done after the first game. Not ideal for us. So we moved. That's a loss. We moved to 2-1 though on the year on our football bets.
14 parlay. We got a little cocky. Went out on a limb. Triple mortgage. Now you just quadruple mortgage your house.
Exactly.
So the next bet.
All you do is just lever up until you win. Finally,
you can't lose them all.
Don't worry about any of these text numbers we're going to tell you at the end of the show. Just keep going. It's
going
to work out. We got a couple more can't missers, but yeah, shockingly, I think it was over relatively quick. Baylor then also loses in double overtime, which as an underdog, that's where I feel like you should win. If you take a dog, I took a money line, by the way. If a dog that you money line makes it to overtime, you should just win the bet. Like, they're supposed to lose.
All right, call FanDuel. Let them know that.
I'm going to ask for some sort of refund on that. I'm sure.
Once Bama didn't cover, I didn't even pay attention to the other 3 games. I was like, well, once you win one, it's all over.
Yeah, once it was clear we weren't going to cover, I was like, well, I might as well just go ahead and lose and have it be an incredible story.
Make sure
no,
Texas
of course
is back.
Not. Yeah, Texas was almost back.
Texas moved into the top 25 with a loss.
That's nice. Play Bama every week. Just keep sliding up if you don't get your ass
Incredible atmosphere down there, though.
It was nice. That was a fun one to watch.
But there was some golf being played. Huge event over at the BMW PGA. Shane Lowry, the big fella, getting it done over Rory McIlroy and Jon Rahm. Jon Rahm, little final round, 62 with an eagle on 18, back 929.
With a bogey.
Rory had a chance on the last for eagle, just missed. But Shane Lowry, one of the favorites going in, was so pumped after this win. I mean, this is a big one. This tournament's meant a lot to him as it has a lot of the guys that played a lot of golf on the DP World Tour. This is a big-time event.
First win for him since the Open Championship. I feel like he should have won a couple more since then. He's been right there numerous times, been playing good. There's a chance he's just now, getting over the shakes. But that was fun to watch. How about the irony, too, of the thing? You get all the live guys, 18 dudes over there playing in it. All of a sudden, oh, hey, it's going to be 54 holes. Like, here it comes. Both sides go at it. 54 holes. It's not a real tournament. It's exhibition points, all the shit. And it just happened to turn out like that. Shane didn't seem to mind. It seemed to mean a lot to him.
Big paycheck, a lot of points. Congratulations, Shane Lowry. He had a hell of a celebration last night. Was a little hung up. He put on Twitter the morning after the night before.
He looked good that morning after.
Looked a little bad.
Same clothes.
I've looked in the mirror and seen something very similar to that before.
Same clothes. I know that feeling. Well.
The man can put down some cocktails.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he loves his Dewar's, and in particular his Dewar's 15, because Dewar's blended Scotch whiskey and the great game of golf are a match made in Scotland. Because honestly, few things are better after a round of golf than a round of Dewar's. Especially Dewar's 15-year-old, created to be a lighter, sweeter blended Scotch whiskey. It's double-aged and as smooth as peering an iron over the bunker for a tap-in birdie. With notes of honey and toffee that play off subtle floral notes, this is a must-try blended Scotch. We love it so much that we recommend giving a bottle to someone special for a milestone birthday, promotion, or even a close friend's wedding. You can make your gift even more meaningful by making a personalized bottle or a custom label at Dewar's.com. So here's to great blended Scotch whiskey and to golf, a perfect combination. Enjoy responsibly. It's now time for the Dewar's Cheers moment of the week. We're going to give a shout out to our good buddy Tony Romo, golf freak, who I took out to play Silverleaf on Friday. We started with a Dewar's 15, and by the time we finished, it was a Dewar's 19-year-old. My God, the guy takes so long to play golf. It was unbelievable. I think we broke every pace of play policy out at Silverleaf between back stretches on the tee, Theragun usage, not believing me where he needed to hit the golf ball off the tee. Oh, it was a special
Yeah, what do
day.
you know?
What do I know? I've only played it 1,000 times.
No. The staff bag, I got to assume, was filled up to the brim. He carries more shit with him. It's like a backpack. The process of him getting ready to play a round of golf, I mean, it's like, you tee off at 9. All right, I need to wake up at 4:30.
Let me tell you.
And get ready. This dude's got some stress with the
10:20 tee time.
Yeah.
He takes an earlier car. We had two groups of all CBS people. Got to play with the legend Jim Nance as well. But he took an early car because he wanted to get out there and warm up. Texts me at 8:30. Hey, bud, I'm here. Where you at? Tee off in an hour and 50 minutes.
I'm sleeping, bro.
I'm sitting on my couch.
2 hours. I'm 7 minutes away, or 7 seconds away.
Yeah, I live 2-minute golf cart right away. So I had to get there at 9 o'clock. I was like, what am I going to do for an hour and a half?
He and I run into some issues when it's like, hey, we tee off at this time. I'm like, cool. We tee off at 9. Cool. So get there at 8:45, grab a drink, chunk a few eights, go to the tee. No, we're getting there at 6:30. Okay, I'll separate.
You'd be exhausted.
Separate car.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll meet you there. We got slightly different warm up routines. You know?
I would say his warm up for one round is equivalent to your entire year.
That's my year of practice. Yeah. And he loves himself some golf, but it ain't no casual. Let's just go hit it around. It's like every shot, life or death.
But on a serious note, it was fun.
Yeah.
Cheers to Tony. Cheers to Dewar's. And how about our guests?
How about Nance though, real quick? Give me Nance's game because I've not played with them. It's got to be silky smooth, not long off the tee, perfect tempo, gets it up, around the green, makes a lot of pars, probably not a lot of tweets, but just smooth, just like he is in the booth. True or false?
Couldn't be more spot on.
There you go.
Least
shocking thing ever.
Smooth. Freddie Couples like rhythm.
Yeah, gotta be.
Just straight as can be. Hits it out there. Just loves the game. Just everything he does is smooth.
You room like with Freddie in college, you're gonna have some tempo, guaranteed. That swing's never gonna be short fast. That's just not Jimmy.
It was a lot of fun. And Nance also knows a little something about our guest this week. A fellow Houston Cougar. He is an on-course broadcaster for the Golf Channel, 3-time winner on the PGA Tour. And I'm telling you, you guys are going to love this man after hearing this. Billy Ray Brown is a beauty.
We know him from on the course. I think he's better off the course. He's one of the dudes you want to hang with. Die-hard Houston Coug was probably crushed alongside me this week when they lost in double overtime. Another money line dog I took that lost. But he bleeds Cougar red. And he's just, we need more of him, like on all the broadcasts.
He's a good old boy.
Get him out there. Yeah, exactly. He's fun. He's just how he is. Like that, there's no tricks. It's just authentic. He's awesome.
All right, here he is, Billy Ray Brown on Golf Subpar.
All right, folks, we got one of the great personalities in the game with us here today. He's a 3-time winner on PGA Tour, 3-time NCAA champ at the University of Houston, currently broadcasting for the Golf Channel, the great Billy Ray Brown. What's up, Billy?
Hey, boys, thanks for getting me in there, man. You talk about characters. To your right, that's the biggest character in golf right now. To your right. You kidding me?
Oh, man. Well, that's very nice. I'm just trying to follow in those big footsteps of yours, my man.
And you know what? In my size, it is big footsteps. I can tell you that.
No doubt about it. But hey, I want to go back to some earlier days because I didn't know you back in the day. But all I hear about from all your friends is how incredible of an athlete you were. Okay, you were good at everything you did, and you obviously were a hell of a golfer. But you weren't really recruited that highly coming out of high school, correct?
I wasn't. I was kind of a multi-sport guy. A little background from where I came from. My dad played the NFL with the Raiders, and my brother played with the St. Louis Cardinals. His sister was a tennis player as well in college. So I was kind of a multi-sport. I played a lot of basketball, baseball, and football as well. And golf really didn't get high on my priority list until after my junior year. I honestly now it was probably the best decision it was, but I just didn't focus on the game, man. I was more worried about busting heads on Friday night, and then playing golf. But that's kind of secondary. Then, after my junior year, I had some success in high school. My junior year on the team, we really had a good team. We won 3 state championships, 5A championships. Back then it was 4A. That was the biggest you could get. So I had some good team members. A couple of guys went on to play at Texas and A&M, but it just wasn't high on my priority list, man. But I had some success in high school. Then I figured with my dad and brother, the position in which I played, you got to be honest with you, I had a growth spurt in college, but I was 5'11", a defensive back, and I had some looks for college football, but I wasn't going to go anywhere in playing. I mean, I just didn't fit the mold for the position that I played. I wasn't going to be good enough at all, and so they were very instrumental in me making that move to there to see if I could take it to the next level.
Did you like football better as a kid in high school growing up, and you just switched to golf? You're like, look, I can't play this position at the college level. I need to find something I can.
That's a hell of a question, because I would probably say I enjoyed golf more, but there was a little bit of pressure to play football. If anybody tells you they like frapping 2-a-days in the summer, getting your ass kicked all the time, and that wasn't fun for me. It was enjoyable, once you got to the games, but it's intense training, stuff like that. I had more fun playing golf than I did football. I will say that.
Well, you ended up at Houston, which was a damn powerhouse back in the day. How'd you end up there? Because, like you said, you didn't get recruited by a whole lot of schools, but somehow Houston gave you a look.
Well, it's interesting you say that. I made a couple visits. I went to Oklahoma State. I went to Oklahoma, and I went to Houston. I played on, like I said, a really good high school team. I had offers, but I made an early commitment to Houston because that's where my family all played at. My brother played there. Obviously, my dad played football there. Both my daughters play softball there right now. My wife cheered there. So that is a deep tradition that I had. So I committed early. I didn't take many recruiting trips. I said, yeah, this is where I would like to go. But at that time, I think we'd won 13 national championships before I got there. And then, Coach Williams always he had a stable full of guys. You look at the history of the guys that played there, that it was really second to none at that time. And so they still had the rich tradition with Dave Williams. And it's ironic, guys, that the guy after my dad left Mount Vernon, Texas, I know it's just east of Dallas. I'm sure if you know Mount Vernon, Texas, just that's where my dad grew up with Bobby Maples and Don Meredith, and he went to SMU. My dad originally went to SMU from Mount Vernon and met a guy named Forrest Gregg, who's a longtime NFL player and Browns head coach, and introduced my dad to alcohol. And he found out his first year at SMU. And Dave Williams, my college coach, was a football coach there as well, and recruited my dad. That's how young he was. Recruited my dad to come to the University of Houston. So I had known literally Dave Williams before I was even present on this earth. So,
oh wow,
yeah, it was a weird story, but they had a close relationship. And why didn't you want to go there? I really knew if I went there, I had a chance to do something. And you're spot on. I mean, I got there and went, wait a minute, boys. I looked in my bag and said, I don't have them shots them boys are having right now. I got some work to do. So we went to work.
At least he didn't end up at SMU. A lot of people get out of there real quick, Billy Ray.
Yeah.
Sleaze couldn't even get in the door.
Oh, God.
They weren't paying like back then like they used to.
Yeah, that Dallas, SMU, they've done their gig too, man. They're going at it as well. It's Colt, you and I have kind of been behind the 8 ball with our both universities, not in Power 5 systems, and both schools have been really competitive. And man, especially the talent that SMU gets, you're never not going to tell a kid not to go to SMU because you're going to get better there too. They can play.
Oh yeah, their golf program's in a really good spot right now. But I want to go back to what you said, because you said when you showed up at Houston, you're like, oh, I don't have that shot in my bag. I got a lot of work to do. Well, you obviously figured it out pretty quickly because you won NCAAs as a freshman. So
yeah,
you figured it out.
Yeah, well, it was interesting. I figured out how to play the game. I was always pretty good athletic. I was always really, really good from tee to green. Always. It came natural to me. Dude, I was terrible. If I got outside of Bermuda grass, I couldn't play a lick. And I was terrible around the greens because you know why? Because I didn't work my ass off to do it. I was always hitting balls the whole time. And finally learned that when I started trying to qualify, that from tee to green, I was better than a lot of those guys on my team. But you look at it at the end of the day, they're beating me, whooping my ass by 4 or 5 shots around because around the greens. So I really went to work, and I'll never forget it. Coach Williams called my dad on Christmas Day. I'm at home for Christmas break, and told me that I'm not putting in the time that I need to. And of course, that's all my dad needed to hear. And so he stuck his foot in my tail. And I'll never forget Christmas Day. I was up at 12 Alley Golf Club where I played, and it was freezing cold. It was a bluebird day. Those bluebird northern days there in Dallas and in Texas itself. It was windy and cold. I got an old shad deck, started chipping, and I kind of stuck with it. And lo and behold, I got a chance to qualify. And actually, I qualified for the tournament, the first one in the spring, and Coach Williams wasn't going to take me because I tied with the guy you probably know from the Dallas area, Mike Neese, who played on my team.
Okay, yeah.
And he left qualifying. I choked coming down the stretch, and we tied the qualifier. Well, he was going to take the upperclassman. So I called bullshit on it. And so we ended up meeting at Herman Park at 5 a.m. in the morning. Herman Park is a zoo right in downtown Houston. They have a golf course there called Herman Park. I met him at 5 a.m. for a playoff to see who was going to go to the trip to Beaumont. And I birdied the first hole, and I think I finished 4th that week, and we won as a team. And so that kind of got things rolling. But to get to that point, Colt, I was pretty damn pig-headed about not putting in the work to get it, be a well-rounded player.
And is it true at NCAAs at Pinehurst, you got it up and down on 18 to win the individual title?
I certainly did. At Pinehurst number 2, I hit it over the green.
Yeah. And,
it was weird because back then it was more team oriented, to be honest with you. Yeah, because that's what we were taught to believe at Houston. You play for the name on your bag and on the back of your shirt. I knew I was right there, but I was more concerned about the team until I found out around 16 there that, hey, I got a one-shot lead, but I got it up and down to win by 2. I didn't. Andy Dillard ended up making bogey, and I believe Corey Pavin made bogey as well, and ended up winning by 2. But I got it up and down. But over the green, OB was right there too. I almost hit it out of bounds. So pull one off, pull the rabbit out of the hat there, if you say. Well,
that little Christmas Day phone call from the coach, kick you in the nuts, that changed your life right there. I want to take you back to the beginning, though, because you said you showed up. There's some dudes there. I mean, Houston's the juggernaut. Well, you walk in day one, and your roommate is a fellow from Australia named Steve Elkington. Give me the first impression, the first time you shook hands with Steve, what you were thinking.
Well, first thing I said, I didn't know what the hell he said, to be honest with you. He had a deep ass Australian accent. He was skinny, had a head of hair that looked like a Brillo pad, that hair that he has, that blonde hair looked like a Brillo pad. And we started talking a little bit, and I sat there going, I'm not sure if I can understand what a word with this guy's saying. Until the next day, we went out to a place called Texaco Country Club. That's, when you're recruited there, they take you to River Oaks, Houston Country Club, Lock and Bar. This is where you're going to play all the time. Well, you get there as a freshman. We had a golf course called Texaco Country Club, literally Texaco. The old refinery owned a course off I-10 East, and it was 9 holes, and the mosquitoes were bigger than I was. And so Elkington, they sent our ass out there to have to go play. And we played 9 holes, and I went, I understand now. This guy, I'm telling you, he could swing his golf club. Confident always, but I'm telling you, just amazing. And he immediately got in the lineup because he was well-rounded. But, and Steve is the type of guy, it's interesting. We've stayed really close through time. And Coach, you know him as well. Steve is Steve is a type of guy that he's going to tell you exactly what he's thinking. Sometimes it rubs people the wrong way. It's rubbed me the wrong way a couple times in college, and he'll tell you the same thing. It's not like we were close and we were roommates. It wasn't like we didn't throw a couple of shots at each other too. I can tell you that.
No doubt about it. Did that swing always? Did it look like in college the way it did when he was on the PGA Tour?
It certainly did. It was, Colt. The only thing different about it when he got there and when he left and got on tour. Luckily, at that time, we had access to some of the best teachers in the game. Butch was just getting to Lochinvar. His dad, Claude, was out at Lochinvar. Then, of course, Dick Harmon was at River Oaks. And so we kind of snatched onto the Harmon brothers right there. And what they do with Steve, though, they just tighten his swing up a bit. And,
that thing has been
only got better. It only got better. You didn't think he could hit better. He had little bitty irons that were, little bitty blades on these things, and he could hit some of the most beautiful looking shots. So,
well, he wasn't the only stud that lived in that dorm room over there. You also had a guy named Hakeem Olajuwon and Clyde Drexler that happened to be at college at the same time you were. What was your relationship like with those guys?
Yeah, I got to tell you, it really stayed with Clyde still to this day. But when Hakeem and Clyde got there, it was, that was that was the start of the era. The 4 years that I was there was all 5 slam and jam, and it started with Hakeem. Hakeem got there, to be honest with you. They dropped him off at Hallfine's Pavilion coming in from Africa, and he didn't know where the hell he was. And he could barely speak English. And of course, Clyde, being there from Sterling High School in Houston, it was amazing to watch those guys meld together as a team. But he's talking about his characters. Clyde's funny, but I tell you who's funny as hell is Hakeem. Hakeem does still very involved at school out at Houston. But Clyde, to this day, he plays a ton of golf. Now he will get, if you give him the right odds, Colt, he's going to tell you, if it's dark outside, the sun's not coming up, and he'll bet on it. I can tell you that.
Like that.
Yeah.
Smart
Give
man.
him my phone number.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's Clyde. But yeah, that was an interesting, because they were having success, we were having success, and we all kind of hung around together, eating at the dining hall. It was interesting. I will say, after their sophomore year, after the second run of the 5 slam and jamma, Clyde stayed around. He stayed in the dorms, but access to those guys back in that day, it was pretty tough. And, we see each other just about every night, but spending time at night doing college kids, they weren't really able to do that stuff. It was, they were that celebrity group, their safe haven was back at the dorm, and literally we had to stay at the dorm. There was not an option. You had to stay at the dorm. And, but those guys became bigger than life out there, but they always were grounded as hell, man. That's what fascinated me. It taught you these guys are the best in the game at what they do. And they were grounded as hell, and they love to have fun, cold beer every now and then, that's for sure. But they like to have fun.
Wasn't Carl Lewis in there at the same time too? Did y'all have him?
I got to tell you, it was so funny. Carl's now the head track coach. We had Carl Lewis on one wing. At the very end of our hall was Carl Lewis, Leroy Burrell, all Olympic gold medal winners, Anthony Ketchum, and they lived down at the very end of the hall, and we lived at the very end of the other side of the hall. And Carl Lewis and Leroy Burrell would stick their heads out of the doors, and we would try to hit 1-irons from one side of the tee down to the other, out of the room, and hit 1-irons down there and try to go through the other window. Being college kids breaking windows. But no, Carl still talks about it all the time. And it's funny you say that. Basketball season's getting ready to heat up, and my wife and the family, Carl's at every game. I don't, obviously on the road, I don't get to make all the games, but Carl's there all the time. And so we spend a ton of time together during basketball season.
Did you think Carl might launch into a musical career at that point if track didn't work out? Rely on that voice?
Dude,
fallback.
After that national anthem, you
oh
know
my
what?
God.
He has not lived it down. Guys will come, for like tailgating before football games, and Carl comes by and some of the boys, and they'll start singing the national anthem and tune. Of course, he turns around and gives them the number 1 sign, We're like, screw you guys. You haven't lived that down. That was something.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Stay with me now. Stay with me in the middle of the
exactly.
anthem.
That's incredible.
It's one of the most famous things he's known for. He's like the world's greatest athlete, fastest dude, and all people.
Gold medals, and he's most famous for botching the national anthem.
That's incredible.
Hold on now. Stay with me.
I mean, what a group of guys that are all there at one time. That's incredible.
Oh my God, yeah. It was something, and we all just kind of hung together. We didn't know any better, because you got to think about it. At that, and of course, you work with him every week. Nance is the one that kept a lot of that stuff together. He got everything kind of moving, because Jim was still my freshman year. Jim was still hanging around doing some public address announcement for the basketball team. So Jim was around there all the time. I mean, it was, he bleeds red. You know that, Colt. I mean, geez almighty. Nance still has so much to do, and he's done so much for the school. But you throw in that and in that basketball team, we just kind of did everything we expected. It was weird, because it was that time we were just in the Southwest Conference. Football was doing well. We had some good players there that went on to the Cowboys, but geez, we all kind of fed off each other, but didn't know what the hell we were doing, to be honest with you. If we did, we probably wouldn't have been successful.
That's wild if you look back. I mean, you got the most famous broadcaster in the world in there. You got the world's fastest man in Carl Lewis. You got 2 of the top 50 ever to play basketball, and you got major champions in the same dorm at the same time. Like looking back on it, that's pretty wild.
Yeah, it is. When we do our Hall of Honor every year, and I'll always bring somebody there. There's people, between swimming and diving, school is it. Every school's got their own little niche, and every especially great university. You look at SMU as well. You can throw that in there as well, Coach. That everyone's got their own little niche. I mean, you start talking SMU golf. Look what came out of there. You got an NCAA champion. You got a major winner there with Payne Stewart, and you got obviously Colt, major winner there, winning the U.S. Amateur. Dude, that goes a long ways. You got to hang your hat on that, because those are special times. And
let's just keep talking about this more. This Sleaze really.
We're gonna edit all of the
Sleaze went to TCU.
Say something shitty about SMU real quick. Now they're all princesses.
I want to say this because people take that shit for granted. That it just comes natural. That it comes easy. But man, there's a lot of shit that goes in behind it to get to that point. And as far as the universe is concerned, they should cherish and just adore these guys that played there. And keep them involved in the program. I don't know how it's for you, Colt, but we as a golf team, we're not that close anymore. I mean, my teammates are, but involved in our program right now, not like I want to be. And we're not very good right now, to be honest with you. I like to be closer to it, So I think it's up to some of the institutions that, especially where we went to school, Colt, I think they should really, really cherish that. That people went there and had success, because people actually want to be, back. I don't know about, I'm not speaking for you, but I'm sure you'd like to be more involved at SMU as much as you could.
No, they do a great job about reaching out and talking to the kids every once in a while, but
asking for money,
yeah, especially. But no, I mean, with the success y'all had, I mean, 3 NCAA championships in 4 years. I mean, come on, that's incredible.
Yeah, if it weren't, it should have been 4 if it weren't for Elkington and I. You talked about Steve. We had the lead my junior year going into the final round with 9 holes to go at San Joaquin Valley at Fresno State. Oklahoma State and Texas was behind us. And Elkington and I got on a bogey train and couldn't get off of that son of a bitch. I was sitting there choking. We would have won another one if it wasn't for Elkington and I. Everybody else on the team played their ass off the last 9 holes except for Elkington and I. We dropped our pants and shit the bed there,
It happens.
It does. But I mean, And you're going to shake your head at this, but when I talked to Elk, he told me when you were in college, you were a top 5 player in the world. That's how good you were. And everyone I talked to, before you start saying no, everyone I talked to raves about how talented you were. But you ended up turning pro after Houston, and it took you a little bit to get going. Why do you think that was?
It's interesting. By my own admission, I didn't. It goes back to when I got into college. I didn't prepare as hard. I learned from a lot of really good players. And when I look back on my career that were number 1 in the world, some of the best players, there are times you have to be selfish and very single-minded, and that be your main focus. And that's high on your priority list. I got to be honest with you, Colt. It was about number 4, number 5 of what I was doing. If I wasn't bird hunting, fishing, doing nothing, hanging out, smoking barbecue. It kind of fell in that line. And until Dick Harmon finally said, hey, what do you want to do? You're going to sit here and not win tournaments? You're going to sit here and be happy with finishing top tens and, play 2 weeks to take 3 weeks off, and you're going to go down there and drink beer and trout and redfish? And I go, yeah, that's kind of, that's where I'm at.
That's exactly what I'm going to do. Yeah.
Yeah. And until I got challenged, then I kind of went to work. And then, everything kind of clicked in until that first time I broke my hand, three surgeries on that. And then, everyone talked about through that time when I felt like I was ready to get back in focus and I had the hand injuries. And everyone said, well, your career was cut short by injury. Yeah, I will say, yeah, but I would be lying. I tell people, say, yeah, that was part of it, but I fucking lost every bit of my confidence. You spend a lifetime trying to get confident. It only takes a couple of weeks of poor play and you lose it all, especially when you go on the shelf after you've had another hand surgery. You come back, it's not like you got confidence again. Physically, I probably could have done it, but man, I just lost the will to prepare to win. I didn't lost the will to win, but I just, the will to prepare was greater than what I would ever had. But yeah, I had a window where I thought that when I look back at it, I wasted a little bit of time.
Didn't you hurt it the first time the week after you won? Like it was kind of starting to all click and you were going, it's like, here he comes. And then bam, wasn't it? It was Colonial, I believe.
Yep. I just won the Nelson. I just going to come back and let's see. Kite beat me in Houston. I went to Paris that following week and Couples beat me in Paris. And then I came back to Colonial right after I won. No, then I won at Dallas. Then I came back to Colonial and I birdied the first 2 holes out, 1 and 2. And I hit it back then, I couldn't drive it around the corner. I kind of went on to the left-hand side, that dog leg left, and hit a tree root. I was just in the first cut. Hit an old, very small pecan root. And that was it. I mean, it just snapperooski. Then I had another one happen in Miami when it broke on a old inverted sprinkler head into a divot. I didn't know it was down there.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then the last time it went, I was actually back playing good. I'd won again and I was off. Colt, I wasn't taking anything. I mean, no pain medication, I don't want to get into that, but I was free. I wasn't taped up anything. Everything felt good. I'd won again. And Easter weekend in Atlanta at Sugarloaf, teeing off on Saturday morning, on the way down, it gave way again, and that was it. I hit one shot, and that was done. And I knew that.
Just right there on the way down, you just felt it, and it was.
Oh yeah, I tried to come back after that, Colt, but I was so bad, man. I was bad. And said, it's funny how I got into this gig after I was done. Curtis Strange kept reaching out to me, telling me, "You're done. You can't play." Like, how Curtis is. He was back at ABC at that time, and Curtis goes, "You're done. Why don't you come try to do some television with us at ABC?" I said, "No, I'm going to play, Curtis." I was, giving it the yeoman's try. And funny, in Milwaukee at Brown Deer Park, Jack Graham and Curtis Strange drove by. They were looking at the golf course, so they went on air. And Curtis drives by and said, "Hey, Billy Ray, I see there's another number next to your name, and it's not red. It's black. You're over par again, aren't you?" That's Curtis. That's what he would say. And I looked over at Jack Graham and said, "Hey, is that opportunity to come in and audition to see if that's still open? I'm ready to be done." That was kind of the end of it there.
Well, I'm glad you brought up Curtis Strange because I heard an awesome story about when you were leading the U.S. Open at Medina in 1990. You're tied for the lead heading into Sunday, and you went to dinner with Curtis Strange, correct?
Correct. It's very.
Give you a little pep talk.
Well, I will say he had just won back-to-back, 88 and 89. And Curtis and I were very close. We formed this bond when I first got out on tour because of Dick Harmon. Both our instructors were Harmon guys, and he worked with Dick as well. And so we hit it off. Curtis and I were close, and it's still pretty close as well. But on Saturday night, on Friday night, I was getting done, and Curtis and Sarah were waiting for Cindy and I, my wife Cindy, been married 36 years in June it was. She's a lucky lady, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah. God.
So anyway,
hit the lottery.
Yeah, Curtis and Sarah were waiting there, and I came out of the locker room. He says, "I don't know what you're doing right now. You're not going anywhere. You're going to dinner with Sarah and I right now, us two." So we did that Friday and Saturday night. He went through every scenario.
That's probably him.
Yep, Curtis.
You're talking. Yeah.
It was Packer. No.
That makes sense.
Yeah. He says, "You're not doing anything." So Friday night and Saturday night, we went to dinner. And now he's still in the middle of this thing. It's a U.S. Open, but and I've still got the lead. I kind of hung on the lead for a couple of days, and he went through every scenario, which I think was good for me, but he scared the shit out of me, to be honest with you. What was going to unfold as a kid trying to win won a major, but his first tournament, hadn't won yet. And he went through, and he took me and went through absolutely every single thing. And it's funny, I'll take it the next step, Colt. As we walked out of the locker room, obviously was very thankful. And I walked out of the locker room on my way out to go hit balls. And Hal Irwin had come into the locker room to use the bathroom before he went to the tee. And he goes, "Kid, you okay?" I said, "Hell, I'm okay." And Hal pulled me aside. Now he'd already won 2 U.S. Opens himself, and said, hey, just breathe, kind of go through your routine stuff that, you've heard 8 million times, but it's coming from four-time champion golfers, Strange and Hal Irwin, before Hal went out and played and just told me to chill. And lo and behold, that's a son of a gun that wins a golf tournament when he makes it, from 70 feet there on 18, to win the dang golf tournament. But that was a really cool time to me. And that's one of the, I think, probably the biggest lesson I learned about the game of golf. Even the good guys can get back, and help guys come through. And so I made it a point. I was never a player like them. I never won a major, there's 4 tournaments to win, and it's kind of your, in my opinion, your measuring stick. There's 4 tournaments to win. And I never got a chance to win another one, or never got close to winning one. I had some chances, but they were runaways. But I learned it was time to get back to the game, even to younger players coming up, and you knew probably they're going to start kicking your ass.
Yeah, but you did have a birdie putt on 18 to get into that playoff. How long was that?
Yeah, it was about 6 feet, Colt. I hit driver and hit 6 iron right there. Yeah, about 6 feet. But to be honest with you, people asked me what was going through mine. I said, I don't know what was going. I couldn't feel my hands. Are you kidding me? You've been there where you just, okay, and it just kind of creased the edge. I didn't hit a bad putt, but what'd you feel like? Well, I don't know. I couldn't feel my hands.
I blacked out. I don't remember anything.
Yeah, exactly. I don't, and actually it's funny, that next year I did an outing there and they took me back they had the whole location cut and put in the same putt. I missed it again,
and you weren't even nervous.
Oh yeah, I wasn't even nervous. I went in there. I said, I don't know what this does. I hit a worse putt, so
unmakeable putt.
That's exactly it.
Before you made the switch into the broadcasting game, you did have yourself a little battle with Tiger Woods himself out at Torrey Pines, where I believe he needed an eagle, or made an eagle on the 72nd hole to clip you by 2. What do you remember about that day?
Well, it was very interesting because that's one of those things that I was kind of, just getting my way back to playing well again. And Tiger, it was interesting. I teed off the last groups on Saturday, and Tiger teed off last on Saturday as well, but off the 10th tee. It was so he shoots 62 and tees off with me on Sunday in the final. He goes from the final pairing on 10 tee to the final pairing on 1 tee on Sunday. And, like I said, it was interesting. I wasn't starstruck because at 16, he started coming to Houston all the time to work with Butch. So us guys in Houston, all the tour players here, we played a lot of golf with him when he was 16, 17, 18 years old. And you knew you were going to get your butt kicked by him. It's one of those sayings, he knew he was better than you and you knew he was better than you. That's the way he was going to be. But that day was actually really fun for me because we kind of separated ourselves from the rest of the field. and we both drove it. A funny story. I was first to hit off 18 when we retired, and I hit a good drive, and all day long.
It's Tiger.
You're busy.
It's Tiger.
Yeah. Geez almighty. They get back to the story. I hit first, and all of a sudden Tiger pulls out, hits a shot that I hadn't heard all day long. Colt, you know what I'm talking about. This thing, he out hit me by 70 yards down 18. And I'm sitting there with a 3-iron left in my hand for that front left elevation. He's got a 7-iron. And of course, Colt, I hit this shot. I hit the big ball before the little ball. I laid the sod of it so bad. I was trying to hit a draw. It was short right of the green on the right-hand side. I batted it. And he hit 7-iron in there about 8 feet, makes a putt, eagle, and wins. Wins by 2. But that was a good day. We had a blast going back and forth. That was a good day.
So when you first met him when he was 16, 17 years old, you knew like this guy's the real deal. He's going to be something.
God, amazing. Not just because he's physically talented. He was smart. He understood how to play. And Colt, you see it now more than any. I wish I would have learned then what I know now doing my job as a walker, how perfect you don't have to be. And he was okay with not being perfect. I wish I'd have been played like that, what I've seen all the leaders do coming down the stretch. But Tiger, he learned how to play the game. We see so many young players, in my opinion, that are incredible from tee to green, but they understand the nuances of playing the game itself. And he was above everybody that I've seen the way he played his game, how he set up angles, how he controlled his trajectory, how he took off shots, how he, moved it in either direction. I was just simply amazed by the guy.
Looking back on it now, like you're one of the few guys that gone toe to toe. I mean, it came down all the way to the last hole there before he pulled away. Like, is that one of your favorite memories playing professional golf? Like, I got to battle with Tiger before he did. I mean, he was obviously Tiger, but it wasn't what he's done now.
Right. He'd already won. You know what? My fondest memory, I will say, in playing, I played around in, I remember what Masters did, and it's sad that I don't remember this, and if I say it's so memorable, but I had the lowest round on Saturday for a long time until Jason Day broke it right in front of me when I was doing the Masters there, Colt, with the digital inside at Amen Corner, doing with Grant Boone. I think you do it now as well. When I did, and Nance actually mentioned that when Jason Day shot 63 on Saturday. I had a record for a long time, 64 at Augusta, and it was the easiest round of golf that I had ever played. It was simply, and no round was ever that easy, but at Augusta National, it was amazing. I played with Mark O'Meara. We talk about it all the time. It was one of those rounds where it could have been nothing, and I didn't do anything special. I shot 8 under 64 and held that record for a long time, and that's the funnest round of golf I ever played because for some reason I didn't get in my way, and I was really never nervous. It wasn't like, granted I was moving up the leaderboard, but I was far enough back where it wasn't going to matter on Sunday, but I was working my way up there. But that was the funnest round of golf I've ever played.
That's awesome.
That'd be a tough one to beat.
Yeah, that'd be
little 64 at Augusta. Yeah,
no big deal. But looking back, I mean, you won 3 times on the PGA Tour. You had an incredible college career. You're now doing broadcasting. How much fun are you having now? Now that you're not competing?
Colt, I have so much. People ask me if I miss it all the time. I say, yeah, I miss it until maybe Sunday afternoon. Sometimes I'll go, golly, that was pretty good. But as you well know, sometimes TV, and depending on who you're working with, live TV sometimes replaces that for me because you don't get a second chance to say something, and you kind of get your adrenaline pumping, especially if you're in a great atmosphere. That kind of sets it back. But I have so much fun doing this stuff because I work with a bunch of players that I played with for a long time, but a bunch of great guys on top of it. It's our traveling family out on the road. The time you come home, and these are people you spend basically half the year with, and it fills a void for me as well. I'm pretty good. It gets me out of the house and keeps me away from I don't go to the golf course that much anymore, but it gets me out and keeps me close to the game, and it reassures at times that the game has passed me by the way they play now. It just blows me away. It's once I go from a Champions Tour event back to a tour event, go back and forth, you see the difference in what the PGA Tour is all about now. And it's a game that has simply changed. And I'm glad I had my time playing there, but I'm certainly glad I'm back doing television now.
And I believe one of the very few times I played well on the PGA Tour, I got the pleasure of having Billy Ray Brown walk with me Sunday at the Players Championship. I think like the last 5 holes.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I got nervous once Billy walked up. I was like, boy, I must be doing something good.
This matters. Billy's
exactly
there.
Right. That's, it's funny you talk about that, Colt. Those are those times that you look back and go, wow, this is really pretty cool, and you soak it in. I wish I would have soaked it in a little better, smelled the roses a little bit more, appreciated what I had. I think we all I know me personally, came complacent, okay, this is what I do, and didn't really enjoy some of the travels that I did. I bitch and moan a little bit here and there if I missed the cut and I'm not coming back to this place. I don't like this golf course. It's all bullshit. I mean, that was a way for me to cover, that I was ticked off the way that I played. I wish I'd have kind of just soaked in things a little bit more. I'm trying to do that with television.
I think you're not the only one, my man. I promise you on that.
Yeah.
All right, Billy Ray. Well, it's time to get to our emergency 9 here. This is 9 fun questions. You thought this was fun. Just wait till this emergency 9 right now. All right, we ask this to everyone. You can trade lives with anyone, be them, for a day. They can be dead or alive. Who would it be?
Arnold Palmer.
Good choice.
Yeah.
I like it.
I'd like to be AP for a day.
The king.
Any specific day?
Well, every day. The reason why, the way he touched people, he made people feel at home. Granted, he had everything he wanted, but he was just a people person. He made people feel good.
Yep, they're one of him.
Yeah,
period. There ain't gonna be another one quite like that. All right, that's a good answer there. We'll go to the second one here. Have you ever been out to Shadow Creek with a defending Masters champion and been told that you weren't allowed to play? On the off chance, just a random question.
Yes, I have been. Fred Couples and I went out to Vegas to watch a good buddy of ours, Rolly Massimino, had just taken the UNLV job, and he was playing John Thompson from Georgetown in the opening at the Thompson Mack Center, their first games, And so we went out there, and of course Nance was there, and I meet this little guy, and and this little bitty short son of a gun, Billy Packer's calling the game, and it's his son Brant. He's over there nipping on Freddie and I's heels. We're trying, what is this kid? So we went out, Nance, myself, Billy, and Fred went out to Shadow Creek to go play golf, and we come to the gate there to go play, and basically the guard says, okay, the reigning Masters champion, since you're not staying at the Mirage, you're not allowed to come out here. We had to change plans and shift, went out to Spanish Trail to go play golf because Fred was not staying at the Mirage, and so they wouldn't let him in to Shadow Creek. The Masters champion.
Yep. That green jacket only goes so far.
That was
eventually you got to book a room at the Mirage.
I got to tell you, I kept that green jacket. Freddie left it here in town. We have a club that I'm a member at here called Shadow Hawk, and Fred was an Argo member. We got 300 members here, and Nance is a member here as well. But Freddie left his green jacket, and I kept saying, Freddie, can I bring this jacket on the road to you? Because no, just keep the thing for a while. Wait, that Freddie, So I had the green jacket. Guys, I'm gonna probably misspeak here. I had it for way over maybe 2 years in my closet.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
that's incredible.
It was.
Oh, only
that's
Freddie.
Exactly. That's the only dude in the world that's won.
Freddie it was wild. We said it here, and Cindy would go, "You gonna take this back to Fred?" I said, "I tell him," and then I forget to pack it. I said, "Well, Fred, let me know." You got to remember there weren't cell phones really going back in those times. Call and leave him. That Fred wouldn't do that. I mean, you'd have to actually do something. To do that.
Awesome.
But it had to stay.
You ever slide it on?
A good 2 years. That jacket sat in there. And of course, it didn't.
You ever slide it on and just walk around the house?
Yeah, it came to
wink
about
at the
right
wife.
here on my arm.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
A big guy in a little coat. You get.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, next one. What's the first thing you think of when you hear the song "Beat the Hell Out of Cougar High"?
Texas A&M.
Okay, well, there was a certain incident that possibly happened on the sideline at the Texas game.
Oh,
we got a big smile going right now.
I think you remembered.
Hey, bud, we do our homework here at Golf Subpar.
Hold on. I was calm and cool, and now I'm starting to sweat a little bit over here. I'm kidding. Yeah. We might have to leave that one to another discussion here. Yeah.
Okay, we can say next question. That's fine.
Yeah, we can play next question on that. We'll do this one off air. So, yeah.
Okay, perfect.
I got a bonus question, so it can still work out tonight if you want.
You go. Okay. Good.
I'll give you this one. This is a little easier for you, but I'm just curious, as a man in the broadcast game like yourself, have you ever gotten yourself lost, say, on the way to the 18th hole to call a playoff by chance? I feel like we're getting it. I feel like he never
I don't think he expected some of this.
He ain't coming back.
This is a great story.
Yeah.
That little son of a bitch. I got to tell you, we had gone in a rain delay in Hickory, North Carolina. Our producer, Brent Packer, is producing that week. They go into a lightning delay, rain delay, and they said they're not going to start for another 30 or 40 minutes. And I had a kid who was doing my yardage and driving my cart. He was a college kid that went to Appalachian State, and he had to get back on Sunday back to school. And I said, hey, Pac-Man, can I bring my Brent Packer? Pac-Man, can I bring my yardage guy back to the compound? He's got to get in his car and drive back to school at Appalachian State. He said, sure, we got plenty of time. Get him dropped off, and all of a sudden Brent goes, where are you at? And I said, hits me on the headset. I said, I just dropped off so-and-so, and I'm headed back to the 18th tee. He says, great, there's a playoff. So anyway, the houses absolutely look the same. Every single house there in Carolina, red brick, 2-story. It didn't. I made this drive 1,000 times. What do I do being the dumbest? I'd make a wrong turn, and I get lost. And Pac-Man goes, hey, listen, they're on the tee right now. And I said, hey, man, I'm lost. He goes, stop. They're gonna be making their way back to the tee. You're gonna be ready to call shots. And I put it this way. I don't know. I said, what part of fucking lost don't you understand? I did. And he goes, what? I said, I'm lost. And so I find the golf course, and it's back on like 5. And Brant's got a camera now following me from a high tower, watching me go through. And I'm beating on the pedal, trying to go fast, and I got lost. I missed the tee shots. They hit their seconds at the par 5. And I got down there for the third shots. I squealed my brakes, and it had been raining. And then I got out of the cart and says, as I said back on the layup shots back there, I just made like I had called a shot. I hadn't called one shot yet. So I did get lost.
That's a pro move. You got to play it off.
Yeah. Like I've been saying, third shot hole.
Right.
That's great. I was also informed that the 5th tee was not even anywhere close to the 18th tee, by the way.
Yeah, it was not. It was, I had to travel. I had to cut across. Had to cross 14. I had to go 6, 7, 14, then finally turn back around and get going back that way. Yeah, it was embarrassing. Of course, I said, don't say anything at all. And I will say, before I got done in the playoff, I get a text from Mike Tirico. He goes, are you effing lost? Brant had already told Tirico that I was lost. And so I'm going, okay, I didn't think it was going to get out, but of course it didn't take literally 15 minutes. And I get a text from Tirico going, are you lost, really? Tell me you're not lost.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
the houses look the same, Mike.
Yeah, exactly.
We can stick with your broadcasting career. You've done a lot of winners interviews after a round. Has a player ever ripped you on air?
Not so much a player has ripped me, but I can tell you Bill Murray ripped me a new one on air.
Oh,
yeah.
Billy.
Yeah, he did. We were doing.
Why?
I was doing the first tee, and I was asking him a couple of questions, and he looked at me and said, can you be quiet right now? This kid's trying to hit. And I'm doing everything in, and he shut me down on live television. I was embarrassing. One, I was embarrassed at first, then I got mad, So, and I'm telling my producer, Packer, I said, every time you hit a bad shot, you said, you better show that shot. We come off that to show that shot. No. Yeah. I think you got.
What about Alan? What about Alan Doyle? Did he ever give you one?
Oh my gosh, Alan Doyle. I will say, on that interview, you take it to that extreme. I had gone to Brant Packer's wedding, and he married Alan Doyle's daughter, Erin, and a bunch of us went to the reception and went to the golf club and where Alan plays, and we drank him out of beer at his club in this rehearsal. I go down and do a walk and talk with Alan Doyle, and he stops. I'm talking to him. He played it off incredibly. Stopped, unzipped his bag, pulled out a bill that he had gotten from the bar and gave it to me, presented me a damn bill on live television. This is what you guys owe for all the beer that you drank at that place.
I respect the play. That's good.
It was a great play, but he was set up for that. But I fell right into the trap.
That's great.
Oh, the Bill Murray surprise. You ever make amends with Billy Boy?
Nope.
Was that it?
I saw him nail Blackmore one time too.
Interesting.
Yeah,
all right, he's moving down a little bit. You can't take shots at Billy on live TV. All right, I know you're a bit of a prankster, Billy Ray. I need to know the best prank you were ever involved in with a man maybe by the name of Shane Denham. Maybe it involves.
Yeah, well, you know what? It depends on. You call me a prankster, and I've got plenty of pranks where I've, put bird seed. I mean, not bird seed, but wildflower seeds in some of the players' yards when they left town, knowing they wouldn't do their yard, and they come back and it looks like Little House on the Prairie. But the other one you're talking about right now, it was bird seed. I was on the receiving end of this. This guy Shane Denham from BSI, a really good friend of mine. I left my car right in front of the trailer, unlocked, safe, right? I mean, I'm in the compound, and it's safe. No one's going to get in there. I left it unlocked. Well, that dummy went and bought 5 pounds of bird seed and stuck it in every vent in my rent car. And so he turned everything up to high. So when everyone had gone in the trailer and looked out the window, I have no idea. I mean, every vent, because it gets better. So everyone's watching out the window. I'm the only one that doesn't know. So I go in and crank the car up, and I'm telling you what, it was like a tidal wave. Seed came. I mean, it just covered me perfectly. I was absolutely covered in this stuff. So now I'm mad, but I'm laughing my butt off. So he's got me. So I'm driving back down, going to the hotel, in Atlanta. I go, you know what? He's good. He didn't leave a stone unturned. I turned on the heater, and he had filled the thing up in front of the dash, the defog, and he filled that up, and I put the heater on, and it was a tidal wave. It came up over the window, back over my head. There was more birdseed that came out of there too. So to this day, I guarantee that car has still got birdseed in it somewhere. I made him take it to the truck stop. Yeah, it was bad.
That's good. I never heard that one before.
Yeah. So whenever our equipment sucks out there, it's because BSI is doing pranks to people's cars instead of doing their job.
Shane. You know what? This is a shout out to you, Shane. You know what? You're always getting Colt and I some bad equipment that we can't hear on. Mm-hmm. It's your fault for trying to pull pranks out there.
Oh, I like this. I'm gonna have to come at Shane a little bit.
It might be time. It might be time.
I heard you had some good ones with Ed Fiore back in the day too.
Man, I got to tell you, we had a feud. He was one of the guys. My favorite one was me and Blaine McAllister, longtime tour player. We're down South Padre fishing, and Ed and I and Blaine are fishing in Ed's boat, and we're at this place down south called the Land Cut. We're drifting. I mean, it goes for miles in South Padre. It goes all the way past Corpus, all the way almost down to the South Padre. We're drifting what they call the Land Cut, and it's about 20 feet of water. But we're casting as we're drifting up in 4 or 5 feet of water, catching redfish and trout. And maybe even shallower. So Blaine and I are up front, and Ed goes, Billy Bob. That's what he always called me. Billy Bob, how deep have we got? And I went, what is he? He knows we're in deep water. I get my fishing pole and kind of go like this and stop it like it stopped. We're in 20 feet of water, And so we're out here. He says, good, I got to use the bathroom. He had to take a crap. So he holds onto the side, puts one leg over the boat, puts the next leg over, and he's just going to jump down and kind of hold on the boat, it's slow drift. The next thing we saw was Ed's cap on top of the water. He went straight down. He went all the way down. He was some kind of mad at me. He's
only like 5'7" anyway, isn't he?
No, yeah, he's only 5'6" anyway. So, yeah. But I mean, he went straight down, and he absolutely got so mad at me because he swallowed a bunch of salt water. He got sick. But I mean, Blaine and I to this day always talk about it. Yeah.
That's a little trick. Oh yeah, it's shallow. It's only
you got to jump in.
Dude, no, he was let go of the boat. I mean, I'm going, he's not this stupid. And damn if he didn't let go. And it was like a torpedo going down to the bottom.
Oh, that is great.
Amazing.
All right, next one. I want to take you back to the 13th tee at Sherwood Country Club. You're at Tiger Woods' event. I heard you hit a rather special tee shot, possibly with Tiger Woods watching.
Boy, this is something. I wish I'd have known this was coming in. I might have missed my flight from Detroit today. We're on 13T at Sherwood. I'm playing Tiger's event, and we're doing the Pro-Am that day. And so I get on 13th tee, and I tell all the guys, we have cameras there, and I say, guys, watch this. I'm gonna sling one around this corner. It's going to be absolutely one of the best drives I've ever hit. I hit this thing right out of the center of the club face, and it goes 60 yards right of the fairway into our TV compound, some 300 yards away. And there's a guy in the very background. He's got his back turned to the hole, and he's pulling cable, just going back and forth, pulling cable. And all of a sudden, a ball rolls right between his legs. And he looks back like, where in the hell did this ball? There's no man that could hit this. And of course, Tiger's right there watching this whole damn thing. And Brant played it, re-aired it while we were on TV. And Tiger's sitting in the booth, and he finally looked at me and goes, that's one of the worst shots I've happened to ever see. And I just right there in front of Tiger, you know this for a fact, Colt. When you're out there and you're doing television and you're a player or you're jacking around in the TV, you can't hide. The cameras see you everywhere. It's wild.
I've learned recently, mostly from Packer, you never go complain to a producer about not being shown or anything like that, because they'll get you on air, and it won't be very flattering when they do.
No. You know what? That is fantastic. Yeah. Do never complain about not getting on air and let the producer find out, because you will get on air, but not in the fashion in which you want to. When you got that bogey putt or that double bogey putt, you're going to be shown. I can promise you that.
Oh, yeah. I love it.
Let's cut down to 12. This putt's for triple here. Colt Knost. Hold on. This will put him 9 out of the cut line.
That's exactly right. That's about it.
That's good.
All right, last one from me. I'm going to give you a little chance here to take a shot at your boy if you want. Your roommates, best friends, all that, with Steve Elkington, all right? So go back to the Houston days. Billy Ray Brown, Steve Elkington walk into a sorority party at Houston. Start talking to the same girl. Who wins?
Oh, I do. No. I'm
Is that because they couldn't understand him?
No, I will say he had the accent. The accent gave it away.
Yeah.
I mean, oh, God, they love the Australian accent. I was so much better looking than him. You kidding me? Some skinny blonde-headed, frizzy-haired, but he would drop in, hey, good day, mate. How you doing? I'm going, come on, man. No chance at all. He was the guy, He wouldn't have to say any words at all, just the accent. The Australian accent.
That accent is lethal.
Oh God, yeah.
That Australian over here is like you go from a 4 to an 8 real quick just saying hello.
Exactly. No doubt. And if depends on what school you go to. Sometimes my accent, I go from a 4 to a 0 with hey, what's up?
Yeah, you get up in the Northeast. You're at the Yale bars.
Exactly.
Ready to impress.
Yeah.
All right, last one.
All right.
You've traveled your whole life, whether it be playing competitive golf or doing TV. You're away from the family a lot. What is your favorite gift your wife Cindy has ever sent you on the road? Maybe it was to the Dick's Sporting Goods Open. I don't know.
Could have been. Who knows?
I tell you, you know what? I know where you're going with this, and it's incredible. I will say this: the research you've done on this. I will say, it was one of the most embarrassing times. But I had my chest stuck out so bad. I was getting ready to leave for 2 weeks. I was doing the Dick's Sporting Goods Open, and for some reason, I was going to go for 2 weeks and shoot this show called Big Break, where you couldn't leave. You were tied down. People gamble on this stuff. You got to sign a waiver. And of course, Frank Noblo, had found something in his room, some adult magazines and tapes, and at the hotel there, and he gave them to Brant, and Frank put them inside of a FedEx box, wrote my name on it, from Cindy Brown, had some lipstick on it, you know, like, hey, I'm going to miss you, you know. So it's presented to me in a production meeting with the tournament director in there. And of course it gets to me and I'm thinking, yeah, what do you guys got? You got nothing. My wife's sending me a nice little box where I'm gone for 2 weeks. And Brent goes, well, open it. I want to see what it is. I said, no, it's personal, I'm sure. So I open it. You know, it wasn't going to be, Cindy would never sing anything bad, but I undo it, look in the box, and I just go, nothing. It was some of the rankest stuff you had ever seen in your life. And so I felt so good about myself for about 10 seconds. Then finally I just went, oh God, I've been had again. You know, I don't know why it happens to me. They always call me WWM. What's wrong now? If something's going to happen, it's going to happen to me. I don't know why. I have no.
Oh, that's great.
It's good to have friends.
Good things happen to good people, they say, huh?
Yeah.
Well, the good news is we got this wonderful platform here. If you ever want to get Brant Packer back, you're more than welcome to just come bury him for an hour.
We have got, oh, dude, I can go on this. I'm telling you, we need to sit down and go through that because I can really, you know, he and his anxiety issues.
I told him we were having you on.
Yeah.
Anxiety issues.
Yeah.
I told him we were having you on, and he sent me the longest text I've ever seen in my life.
Dude.
He was so excited.
Longer than the text you got from him before you went on air. But I mean, before you got to the tournament there at the USAM, all the shit all the paperwork that you got.
Way longer, but yes.
Yeah, I hope you ditched all those.
We had
we'll
a blast.
give you a chance, Billy, to get all these fools back. Don't you worry.
Oh, yeah.
We appreciate you.
All right, guys. Thanks.
All right. Well, Sleaze, how much fun was
Love
Billy
him.
Ray Brown? I told you when we had him coming in. A lot of people, you might not know who he is. You might have heard of him, but you're going to love him at the end of this episode.
Any fella that gets lost on his way to the playoff, I respect that a lot.
And, of course, he's been out all week.
I love the little yeah, exactly. He's been out there for 6 days. Yeah. Where the hell is this 18th hole again? The little gift package he got from the wife.
See, those are some stuff behind the scenes that, you know, people don't know about the pranks that go on, and that is great. Here he is, all feeling all good. Oh, my wife sent me something nice. Now, that'd be Brant Packer and Frank Noblo pulling a fast one.
Hey, open that up.
Yeah,
open that
right
up,
in front
man.
of everybody.
Yeah, what you got there?
So good. I love your Australian Frank Noblo.
Yeah, that was my
He's
Australian.
from New Zealand, but whatever.
It's the same, basically. Kiwis, Aussies, they're basically, it's all just one little lump down there in the corner.
But it's funny, talking to, you know, a bunch of guys like Steve Elkington in particular, anyone in the TV world or former player that played alongside Billy Ray Brown, they're like, this guy was a stud. Like, if it wasn't for that injury, he would have had a monstrous career. He won 3 times, you know, was up there with a chance to win the U.S. Open at Medina for that incredible dinner with Curtis Strange, giving a little pep talk the night before.
Just scaring the shit out of him.
But, man, it sucks when injuries do that to a player that had so much promise. But, listen, he's found his way. He's been an incredible on-course broadcaster for a long time.
Yeah, and not only the injury, but like the timing of the injuries. Right after he won, here we go. You know, pop the lid. Now it's time to go. And then the next week at Colonial, like a freak thing. And then he had the sprinkler deal again. The re-injured is like he's just caught some bad breaks, but same thing. Like you talk to people from that era, they're like, dude, physically, like as talented as anybody was out there at the time.
Ball boy, they could just chuck it across the field.
Yeah, he looks like
yards.
a dude. He could put the hat on somebody back in his playing days, back in football.
But I love it. We'll always be a Billy Ray Brown fan.
How about Bill Murray going at him too on TV? Billy, Billy moves way down. Billy Murray.
Yeah.
Bill Murray, not Billy Ray.
No, Billy Ray moved way up on your list.
Yeah, 100%. Want to hang.
But thanks for Billy Ray Brown for joining us. Sleaze, it's football season. It's also now golf season. Fortinet Championship, defending champ Max Homa is the favorite. Going off, depends on where you look at it, but obviously you should look at it at FanDuel. Going off around 15-1 with Hideki Matsuyama as well. So we're going to start, now that it's football and golf, we're going to have some fun little action, some parlays, maybe a finish by Max Homa versus his Cal Bears covering this weekend at Notre Dame. We don't know. We're going to get that to you later this week, but some fun football/golf parlays.
A lot of ways to win and or lose shitloads now that everything's
We're
firing.
positive. We're going to win.
Everything's firing. You got NFL too.
We're 2-1 on the year. We're
That's
unbelievable.
Higher than the pros.
Yeah.
That win percentage. By the way, that was a 4-way parlay. We can't be held to that.
Well, like I said, college football is back. Put on your favorite game day gear because college football is here and FanDuel wants you to get in on the action. Right now, new customers can get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's $1,000 back in free bets if your first bet doesn't win. Like I said, we got college football, we got golf, we got NFL football. You just keep on firing, whatever you want.
Probably a horse race somewhere you can fire on.
So this week we're going to take, as we always do with the golf, our favorite and a dark horse, and then we're going to throw in a college football pick at them.
Done.
Okay. My favorite is also one of your favorites to pick every week. Going off at 18-1, one of the purest ball strikers in the game.
No.
I know he's fired up to represent the international team at Quail Hollow. Next week, I'm going Corey Knost to get the job done in Napa at 18-1.
Say no more.
You love him.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Corey Knost, top 20, I think I bet almost every single week. Whether I say it on the spot or not, it's like, oh, Corey, it's always like plus money. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll take that. Love Corey Knost every single week. I'm going with the guy as my favorite. I feel like he's going to be a little bit chalky this week, but I'm going to still take him anyways. He's going off at 26-1. That's Maverick McNeely. Stanford guy, NorCal guy. Everybody knows about that, but he tends to play awesome in the state of California anytime he gets up there.
He was runner-up.
He was runner-up last year out there, had a really good chance to win. He was right there at the Barracuda, which is basically Northern California earlier this year. You had him in that deal, and he had a disastrous finish to that. Plays great at Pebble. He just loves playing up there, and it's like I said, it's going to be chalky because everybody knows this, but I'm still going to go Maverick McNeely 26-1.
I had him 2 weeks in a row last year, Barracuda being one, and then the following week where combined his last 8 holes of both tournaments, he was like 12 over par.
He had some shots there, didn't quite close, but this is the week I think. He likes this golf course. I think 26-1 is worth firing on. He comes out the gates too, I feel like, each year with some good finishes.
All right. For my dark horse, this golf course is not long. It's rather narrow. This man hits it straight as anybody on the planet. He's 50-1. He won that, as you mentioned, Barracuda Championship this year.
Oh, boy.
Ches Rivet.
Oh, boy. Shea Rivet.
Shea Rivet.
The Frenchman. Yeah, looking to play
What do
his
you think
way
about
onto the
Chesney?
European Ryder Cup
50-1.
Well, if you look right here, he is also my dark horse. We did not communicate before the show, obviously. These are authentic and real. I also have Ches Rivet at 51 for basically every reason you just said. Short golf course, hit it straight, irons, not terrible. Typically hoops a few early in the fall, and was playing good towards the end of last year. So I'm going to take Chesy too, 50-1. Right. That rarely happens, by the way.
I love that. All right, let's go to a little college football.
I mean, here we go. Get your house back. Get your house back.
All right, I'm going to go with the team that's going up against a team that has had just an absolute...
A team going up against a team?
Well, I'm going with the Oklahoma Sooners,
like that.
But they're going up against Nebraska, who is just a damn dumpster fire. Just fired Scott Frost, by the way, got the best deal in the world. He gets $15 million and gets to go away.
Say what you want. He's a genius. He knew the deal. If I make it to October 1st, I get half my buyout. If I get fired right now, which I'm going to, by the way, after the start of the season, I get all of it. And he forced his way out for $15 million. Shout out to him.
Do you think that's why he kicked that onside kick?
There's no way some of the shit he's doing. I'm like, he knows. He knows there's 15 waiting for him. If he can if he can just lose another one, he'll get out of there before October 1st and get $15 million. That's genius. He was already dead man walking.
They played Georgia Southern this past weekend. End up losing by 3. We're leading going into the fourth quarter. Nebraska had never lost at home going into the fourth quarter. 214-0.
That's
unbelievable.
No more. That's unbelievable.
Unless someone lied to me on
Twitter. They never played Georgia Southern at home. Did not. You know how Georgia Southern brings it in the fourth.
Minus 11.5 over Nebraska.
That's good. I like that. That's actually really good.
I like that.
Actually, the more I'm thinking about that, that is a full send for me right now. I'm going to give it to you. All right. I was between 2 games here. This one's earlier in the week, so I'm going to go with it and see how things go. So
if you lose, you can recover?
Exactly. Yeah. I'm going Florida State, coming off a big win over LSU. Take it however you can get it, okay? Minus 1.5 over Louisville, who I bet blindly week 1 against Syracuse. Syracuse has been terrible. I was like, oh, Louisville. They got some dudes. Take Louisville. They get stomped by Syracuse. They come back and won last week. I don't think they're very good. I don't know about Florida State yet, but they're only giving 1.5 at Louisville. Give me the Noles.
Wow. Oklahoma, Louisville, you want to get a little aggressive? Maybe parlay them.
Parlay that thing.
All right.
I thought you were going to go USC again, which, by the way, they're not a bad
2 in a row.
Yeah. 12 and a hook this week against Fresno.
I mean,
probably taste that too. I got a house to get back.
Might as well just keep riding it until it gets kicked off.
I'll be sleeping under the 101 here quickly if things don't turn
I got
around. I don't need any of these numbers you're going to read, though.
All right. Well, if you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, now is the perfect time to give it a shot. The app is so easy to use. They're always hooking you up with great odds, and when you win, you get paid fast. So see for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Download the FanDuel app today and sign up with promo code SUBPAR and get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 back in free bets and bet on college football all season long and golf. Use promo code SUBPAR. Get ready. We're going to throw out a little golf, college football parlay for you later in the week. It's going to be a lot of fun. But must be 21 years and older in select states. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG. In Colorado, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Illinois, or Virginia, 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342 in Arizona, 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut, 1-800-9-WITH-IT in Indiana. Visit ksgamblinghelp.com, 1-877-770-STOP in Louisiana, or 1-877-8-HOPE-NY, or text HOPE-NY, that's 467-369 in New York. Tennessee, Red Line, 1-800-889-9789 in Tennessee, or 1-800-522-4700 in Wyoming, or visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net in West Virginia.
Don't need it. Double up the ketchup. That's all you need to say.
All right, that's going to do it for us. We'll talk to you on next week's Golf Subpar.